We're at the start of a new year, guys, and with the new year comes some new games for us to play and intro stuff. You guys know how this works by now. So today, I'm just gonna give my list of my top 5 most anticipated games of 2024. I guess this is kind of like a New Year's special video. I thought about doing a top 5 favorite games of 2023, but honestly, I didn't really play a lot of different games from different consoles last year. You know, I'm mostly a Nintendo guy, so if I did a top 5 games of last year, it would be like Spider-Man 2 and then 4 Nintendo Switch exclusives. It just didn't really seem necessary. Also, I do say this is a top 5 upcoming games of 2024, but that doesn't necessarily mean that this is literally my 5 most anticipated games of the year. I did try to strike a balance and make sure I had a decent amount to say about these games, so don't take the rankings themselves very seriously. The main idea is just that the games I talk about today are games that I'm really excited for. So without further ado, I'll kick things right off with Mario vs. Donkey Kong. Yeah, I haven't seen that many people talking about this game, and I'm not really sure why, because I honestly think it looks really fun. I love Donkey Kong, and I like this mix of 2D platforming with puzzle solving. These are the kinds of levels I'd only expect to see in Mario Maker, but it's nice to have some Nintendo-made ones. And this just means that we get 2 new 2D Mario games within like 6 months of each other. How often does that happen? The story is literally just Donkey Kong suddenly wanted all the new Mario toys, but the store was sold out, so he went and robbed the factory. Like, I don't know, I just find that kind of funny. Everything about the game and its art style looks really cute, and something about the gameplay just looks genuinely appealing to me. Plus, it has multiplayer, which sounds kind of weird. I'm not exactly sure how that'll play out, but it's definitely interesting. It's not really the game I have the most to say about, but 5 is a lot more satisfying of a number than 4. Next up, Mouse. Yeah, so as I'm sure most of you already know, in late last year, Disney's copyright of Steamboat Willie pretty much ran out of time, meaning the property is now in the public domain. As we've come to expect from this kind of stuff, we're getting a bunch of weird and silly adaptations based on it, but what I didn't expect was a game that actually looked this cool. This game doesn't feel like the rest of those twisted public domain works that just kind of exist because they can and for shock value. This actually looks like it comes from a place of passion. I'm not gonna say that those other Steamboat Willie games don't look cool, I'm just saying that Mouse looks the most like a game with a lot of heart and care behind it. Not at all like it's just being made for the memes and the lamaus. It genuinely looks like it's being made because it's a really great concept. It's a perfect example of how much charm a unique art style can add to a game. It's clearly and admitted to be based on what Cuphead did, having the whole game look like a cartoon from the early 1900s, intentionally trying to do to FPS games what Cuphead did for side-scrollers. All the ragtime music and the way the rubber hose characters move around, it's as charming as ever. The idea of moving around in a 3D world though is a very cool and ambitious concept. I'm really interested in experiencing it. The gameplay in general also just looks really fun. You're not just running around and shooting guys. You know, you see the guy dropping pianos on them and eating spinach and punching people. Then there's the fact that the trailer shows you crawling through vents and finding newspapers and posters, which makes me think that the game might have some more exploration-based stuff and story depth than we're expecting. 3. Killer Klowns from Outer Space, the game. I love Killer Klowns from Outer Space so much you guys don't even know. I can't believe they're actually making a game based on it. I've loved this movie for years. It was one of the first horror movies that I ever really liked, so it's really nostalgic for me, even with it being as completely ridiculous as it is. Although I never really thought about how well it would work as a multiplayer horror game, but yeah, now that I think about it, it sounds like a great concept. This movie is so weird, and I'm happy that the developers of the game seem to be embracing that fact. I said the same thing about Mouse, but this is another adaptation that genuinely feels like it comes from a place of love. It actually looks like it's being made by people who genuinely love this movie, not just someone who's trying to capitalize off an existing IP. Based on what we've seen, it embodies the spirit of the original extremely well. The level of detail on the models is immaculate. They look super cool. Their voices are perfect. They're even using the movie's classic theme song in the game trailer. Like, it's so good, you guys. I can't even predict which clown is gonna be my favorite because all of them look so fun. They all have the most iconic weapons from the original, you know, the cotton candy gun with the puppet, the popcorn gun, the hammer, the boxing gloves. Also, I love the fact that Google Docs knew to remind me that Klowns is spelled with a K in this franchise. At number 2, we got Persona 3 Reload. I've been wanting to get into the Persona series for a pretty long time. I actually bought Persona 5 a while back and I haven't even started it yet because I just haven't really had time. But I actually think I'm gonna hold off on playing it for a bit longer just so I can play Persona 3 Reloaded first. I know the games aren't all like connected in the traditional sense, I just thought it'd be cool to play 3 before 5. I've also been intentionally avoiding trailers for Reloaded because this seems like one of those games or series that are best experienced blind. I think I've only watched like 1 trailer and based on it, this game looks great. But also, since I'm trying to avoid information about it, I don't really have much to analyze right now. But just to make up for it, I'm gonna go over a couple honorable mentions before we get to my number 1 pick. First here, I've got Little Nightmares 3. I like Little Nightmares. It's a really cool psychological horror series that always manages to disturb me. The games are great at portraying this creepy world and aesthetic, and Little Nightmares 3 looks like it's taking a more unique approach on the series. Usually these games are really dark in terms of lighting and color, which works well for the scary atmosphere. But I like how 3 seems to lean more into the complete opposite direction of that spectrum, using this kind of unnatural, blinding yellow light as a technique to make things unsettling. Next up, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Final Fantasy VII was a great game, and Rebirth looks like it's going to be awesome. I'll always jump at a chance for some Sephiroth. And lastly, for honorable mentions, we've got Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. The only Paper Mario game I've played is Super back on the Wii, which I liked, but it didn't exactly hook me into the series. I'm definitely thinking about trying out The Thousand Year Door when its remake comes to Switch though, since its fans are always talking about it like it's the greatest thing since Sayaka Mizuno. Okay, and now for my #1 most anticipated game of 2024. Of course, it's Princess Peach Showtime. Sorry, what can I say? I'm a Nintendo guy. So this game looks super cool. I love Peach. She's one of my favorite Mario characters, and I'm so glad that she's getting a completely brand new modern game of her own. I always imagined that if she got a new game, it would be more like what Super Princess Peach was, where it's kind of like the concept of a Mario game, but you play as Peach and there's some gameplay twists. This isn't that though. This is a completely new concept and idea. It looks like something really creative and unique. The gameplay looks so fun. I mean, I guess it has this sort of Mario Party vibe to it, with it having a bunch of completely different sort of mini games, but it's still clearly much more cohesive and thoughtfully designed. The game's main gimmick is its costume thing, where Peach has these different outfits she can wear in different situations that give her different abilities. I love that concept, and there's pretty much infinite potential with it. And plus, she just looks really good in all of these. All the variety is awesome. They've got her as a ninja, a sword fighter, a chef. If you couldn't guess, I'm most excited for the detective one. But yeah, they all look super cool and super fun. And then just the whole play aesthetic. The game is supposed to take place in a stage play, which just, oh, it looks so cool. The design of all the props is so nice, and the little guys in costumes are cute. It's just something really fresh and exciting, you know? I'm excited. I really want to play this game. And that's about all from me for today. Happy 2024, and thanks for watching. Later.